Okay, Erwin, welcome in our school. And the common ground that we share is working with this concept of public value. And this idea of public value has been developed in the Kennedy School of Harvard University. It's seen as kind of a successor of the new public management way of thinking. My question, coming from South Africa, you're from Stellenbosch, how do you use public value theory, public value management in South Africa? Because you could say it's a Richmond theory developed in the US. Is it something that you can use in Africa as well?
It is definitely, because it captures a lot of very crisp and succinct ideas about how to involve people. It uses concepts which creates public value through co-creation, through co-production of services. It creates much more involvement. It is not only about shareholder interest or about government interest, it is about stakeholder interest. And in that way, it involves people in their own development and upliftment. It is a question, therefore, on how to facilitate it, how to get it from the ideas through to some form of institutionalization and then into implementation. And that is a challenge. But that is not only a challenge in the developed world, but also in the developing world in that way.
Okay, and if you see the recent development of this theory, it's becoming more concrete. And his last book, Recognizing Public Value, where Moore tries to make something like a balanced scorecard for the public sector. How do you evaluate that development? Because you speak Afrikaans, so we can make this Dutch joke. Er is niet zo duur als het centraal verwarmen van een luchtkasteel. So putting money in a wonderful idea can be a very expensive thing. But on the other hand, if you start calculating on a wonderful idea, the idea loses its attraction. How do you, because you have to be very precise on where to put your money and how to be as efficient as possible.
In all of these things, there is an inspirational aspect, that is the inspiring part of the involvement. But of course, it needs to be institutionalized, and that means in some ways you have to lead and manage processes. And for those purposes, although it's not only measure and manage, you also have to measure and manage. So at the same time, you must look at, let's say, the social value creation, but also at the more instrumental aspects of implementing these things. And therefore, it is still necessary, or again necessary, to make sure exactly for not heating up a luchtkasteel, that you actually do manage these things. In that way, our school is also fairly unique in the sense that we have constructed a particular methodology which takes us out of the ivory tower and into social labs. I do social innovation with municipalities in South Africa, where we get the permission to experiment and to really work on building the knowledge around these concepts, to take it from conceptual to concrete.
Yeah. Could you give us an example? Because I think you were working in a community called Draken.
Now, we actually work currently in 3 communities.
Okay.
We've got an innovation social lab in an urban area, which is part of the bigger city of Cape Town, an area which is showing signs of urban degeneration. And we're doing innovation there. That is the Greater Tygerberg Partnership, which is somehow also a contradiction because there were never tigers in South Africa. However, the leopards were called tigers. Then we've got one in the rural areas, which is the Hessequa municipality, a third land size of the Netherlands and 40,000 people. Very pristine, but a number of small towns, lots of poverty. And then an emerging one, which is Saldanha municipality, which is quite interesting for Dutch people as well, because it links to our big port. Saldanha is actually the best seaport that we have. And there are linkages also to Rotterdam and that. So we work in those areas with the people, contracted by the local government in order to take the public value and the innovation concepts to the ground, then have a form of learning governance where we do, and then we analyze, and then we learn and we redo. So it's a cyclical process of adding public value in an innovative way, utilizing the concepts of learning governance, which is another form of set of ideas that are now coming.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for sharing this with us, and we are really looking forward to develop and work together on this wonderful way. Because I think a number of issues that you are facing in South Africa, obviously our world is quite different. But then again, we in the Western world, we also face forms of stagnation and the need for social innovation of our welfare system. And it's a wonderful experience working together with you, and well, hope to see you soon.
I hope that we can really expand upon and build upon our current relationships. And we are thinking, as you are aware, about creating a global good governance conversation around the very concepts that inform modern government and how that is changing through a number of powerful forces in societies, such as globalization, such as the fact that illness, crime, people, money flows across borders, and we need to have that conversation in order to come up with new ideas again.